What we do here is go back.
And there we go, we are live, or at least it very much looks like that is the case. Good. Sorry to keep you all waiting, as per usual, Windows updates at the most inopportune moment. Now you'd think with all the videos I've made of how to pause or stop Windows updates from running, you'd think by now I would have learned my lesson. But typically the one PC that I haven't done any modifications to in that regard is my streaming laptop, which is come around and bit me in the backside. Anyway, so let's say a quick hello to those of you that have joined us already, nice and early in the chat room. So we got Ghost Adder, Angry Doge, John Walsh, Captain Meese Adventures, Thug Gamer, British Noob, Sky Stalker. Who else have we got? Kath Churchill, as always. F7GOS. Is that F7 Goes or F7 GOS? I'd never really known for sure. Anyway, thanks for joining us. British Noobs in the house, David Aitkins in the house. So quite a lot of the Discord crew in here, which is nice to see. British Noob says Mike's late. Yeah, as per usual. Hey, wouldn't be me if I wasn't late. AKA Liam's in the house, Ninja47, Paul McCarthy. Are you a beetle? That would be pretty cool. Hamad 1027's in the house. F7 Go says, long story that one, F7 is easier. Okay, we'll go with that. Terry C says hello. Happy days. Right, okay, that's the hellos out of the way. Let's get on with this. I don't want to bore you all to death more than you necessarily have to be. So tonight's stream, what are we talking about? Well, what we're talking about is AMD Ryzen, AM4 platform, and cheap ass coolers. And some coolers which aren't really cheap ass, but definitely worth a look because they're in that really nice price point, or at least some of them are, where you can pick up a really good quality cooler for about £20 mark. But is it worth it? Is it a pain in the ass? Is it going to be a hassle to install? Those are all the questions that I get all the time. Is it easy to install? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what your level of dexterity is. You might be like Captain Club Fingers and just smash things to pieces. I don't know. So what we're going to do tonight, we've got the stock cooler. We have got the Sahara Iced Rainbow. Spoiler, this one's a bitch to install. We've also got the Thermaltake Contact Silent 12. That one's quite good to install. Spoiler alert again. And we've got the Arctic Freezer 33, the 34. Those are good additions because people often ask what is the difference between the 33 and the 34. To be honest with you, there isn't a great deal of difference apart from the fans themselves and some of the pipe arrangements. There's very minimal difference. And also they say what's the difference between the eSports and the Duo. So because both of those are the eSports and the Duo, like the single dual fan edition, I can quite easily just leave one of the fans off so we can see what it's actually like just with a single fan. So at the moment on Amazon there's a fantastic link. You can pick up a Freezer 34. Unfortunately, it's in yellow and black, so not everyone's cup of tea, but it's like £22 at the moment, which is a phenomenal deal. Normally these retail at about £25 or more, so yeah, there you go. And that noticing sound is George's pizza being ready, so Kath's going to go and turn it off, I think.
He's come in.
Ah, no.
He's probably quicker than me. Hey, amazing.
Okay, so there we go. Let's wait for George to get his pizza out. It's okay, I'm just doing a live stream. Carry on, it's all good.
It's all about you, George.
It's all about you. Right, let's have a run through the parts. Now these parts are going to be pretty familiar for those of you that joined us for our stream at the weekend. So we're using the Gigabyte, the B450 Gaming X. The processor is the Ryzen 5 2600. So that gives you kind of comparable idea of what a 65 watt part is going to be like with these budget coolers. RAM is the V-Color Prism. Graphics card is the Power Color. I want to say Red Devil, but I don't think it is a Red Devil. I'm not sure what version it is actually, but it's an RX 580. In this particular instance, it doesn't make any difference at all because we're going to be solely creating heat and seeing what the thermal issues are like on the CPU. So the GPU is basically just a display and output, so don't pay much attention to that. Power supply is the CIT ATV Pro 500. Well, I know I keep on harping on about, but it's actually a really decent little power supply. And the truth of it is, I was running so late for this stream, and I didn't want to take the power supply out of the PC I'd built because it's kind of in there quite nicely. So I thought I'll use that. Makes much more sense. Okay, so let's see. At the moment, we're running with a stock cooler, which hopefully you can all see in the camera feed at the moment. So that is literally like the, I'm not even sure what they call that. It's just like the Wraith Stealth, I think it is called. It's what comes with the Ryzen 5 3600, 2600, basically most of the range apart from the ones with the LEDs and stuff. It doesn't have a copper slug in the bottom of it, so it is kind of like cheap, completely giveaway stuff. And actually, it's not a terrible cooler. Normally, like in an ambient condition at the moment, this is probably worst case scenario because we've got no airflow across anything. All we've literally got is what is in ambient air condition, and it's about 24, 25 degrees, which actually I have been meaning to check on the Telltale device. Just let that acclimatise for a little while, and I'll show you what it reads. I've got a sticker here to stick on something. I don't know what to stick that on. What the hell? Anyway, so temperature's rising. At the moment, we're at 24.5, so I'll give that a little while to acclimatise because it's been in the drawer. But currently, the CPU I've just had on, I did run a very quick Prime 95 test, maybe about a minute, 2 minutes, just to make sure that the fan was ramping up and all that kind of stuff. Currently, the CPU package temperatures, now this is in CPU ID's hardware monitor, which you can download and try this at home. You can play along at home if you wish. So motherboard temperatures through the range pretty much 33, 36, 38, 33, 33, 36. That would be a really strange shaped woman, wouldn't it? The CPU fan at the moment is currently at about 1400 RPMs, and we're looking at package temperature 39 degrees. So we're idling around about 39 degrees, which is what I would expect. 39, 40 degrees stock cooler ambient temperatures, which is, yep, we'll say 25 to make life easier. So that is what, 15 degrees above ambient, which perfectly acceptable in an open air test bench. If there was some direct airflow coming through as well, you might get it down to about 10 degrees over ambient, but not too bad.
Shall I write it down?
Yeah, actually that's a good idea, Kath. If you can write down the temps, and we'll get, because I won't remember them. I don't remember my own name. So, do you remember what they were?
No.
Okay, so
What is cooler?
this is stock. Kath's going to write this down so I don't forget. So stock, so low is 39. High we don't know yet. And the ambient temperature currently 24.5. And actually it'd be a good idea to get a decibel rating. What do you think? Decibel rating, would that be useful to you guys? I'll wait for you to catch up in the chat, but I think that's probably a good idea.
How many have we got? 5? I'm never going to fit all these on now, am I?
No, probably not. You might need paper. Right, I'm pretty sure I've got a decibel meter in here. Oh, can you close that window, Kath, please? So we've got our decibel meter. Oh, we've got a super chat come in. So, oh, this is not going to go well tonight, is it? So there's our current decibel rating. You see that?
You better wait until because that makes a whirring noise.
It's not too bad.
It's not dark enough for disco light.
It isn't. Okay. We should address the fact that British Noob has thrown in a super chat. So for those of you who are new to the channel and don't know what the hell's going on, when we get a super chat, the RGB disco ball goes off as a notification, so you get some RGB lighting and all that kind of stuff. And if you've got a question, I will answer it for you. But British Noob says, for his £5, you were the chosen one. It was said you would destroy the Sith, not join them. Bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
He turned into darkness.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. You turned into, yeah, you did turn it into darkness because you super chatted and Kath had to turn the lights out. Henceforth, darkness.
Thanks, though, noob.
Anyway, okay. Right, so if I stick on Prime 95, if I remember which keyboard is which, so we're just going to run Prime 95, which actually, if I spin the camera around, you can see, hopefully you won't see Kath writing. I'll wait until that is on there. And up we go, there we go. So Prime 95, probably can't see it particularly well, but at least you can see that I am actually doing something. So Prime 95, that is going to be running the small FFTs, not the smallest, but the small ones, because they that seems to do pretty well for me. So test. Worker windows, cancel that. And where are we? Oh, come on. There we go. So we're going to go with the small FFTs tests. So maximum power and heat and CPU stress. And I'm going to leave everything else as is. So again, you can try this along with us at home. That is if you can actually see anything that's actually on the screen. I don't know if you can or not. Anyway, we'll do it. So
what's decibels?
What for that?
Yeah.
It would have been about like 55 was about the lowest I saw. Okay, so let's click that going. So that's going to start running, and the fan is going to ramp up pretty darn quickly. And already I can hear the fan kicking in, so I've still got a decibel meter running. And it doesn't actually seem to be changing much. My voice seems to be louder. There's a thought. So let's go back to the main camera. Oh, it is working. There is a heck of a delay on this, I'm afraid, sorry. So if you do say anything, yeah, bear with me. So we're going to leave that running for a few minutes. I'll just go through some of the questions and we'll see what the temperature gets to. Actually, if I get on the screen, I can keep an eye on it as well. And see where we're looking. Already we're creeping up into the mid-70s, so only a couple of minutes so far, and we're at 74 degrees C on the package. The rest of the motherboard temp's actually still okay, still looking good. Okay, so let's have a look at some of your questions and comments quickly while we let that heat up a little bit. Hamad1027 says, my Freezer 34 arrived today. That's really good timing. You can see how it performs. Ghost Adder says, Mike, your house is on fire.
Oh, George is a thingy.
I get it, I get it. Hold on. Where are we? KZ Big Fan says, I was watching the last stream where you and Sky were killing each other. Yeah, Noob and Sky got this kind of love-hate relationship.
I think that's their gaming stream, not yours.
Oh, right, okay. They still got that as well. So, interesting news today. The B450 and X470 chipsets are going to get beta support in the BIOSes for the new Ryzen 3000 and possibly 4000 processors, which is pretty good news to some of us, probably not to the poor bloke locked away in a room somewhere creating these beta BIOSes and having to test it all. I don't envy him that task at all, but I'm glad he's got to do it because it makes life so much better for the rest of us. And it means that now the shops that have already kind of panic reduced their prices for the X470s, they're worth buying now. Definitely worth buying. British Noob's trying to get me to get an Intel setup, which I am actually still tempted to do at some point. Be interesting to see what happens tomorrow because the embargo's lift, I think it is tomorrow, so we should get some news on the new Intel stuff tomorrow. Could be an interesting time even. And we got another super chat in, and that is from the British Noob, £2. He says, "Sky, don't know war." Oh dear, here we go. And oh, here we go. Our sponsor from Saturday's stream is back in the house. Chris Tech Tips.
What was that Sunday?
Says, was it Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday, I think.
Might have been Sunday.
The build one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, 3 streams so far. That's not bad. Caleb Lemming says, so in the terms of looks, the Wraith just looks like it performs better. There is something nice about that design. There really is. The only thing I don't like about the Wraith cooler is the fact that the AMD logo has always been put on around the wrong way, whereas it should be at the top in majority of systems. I guess they probably thought about it at the beginning and they're like, well, most people are going to get rid of it anyway, but a lot of people managed to stick with it, still use them to this very day, so it would be nice just to have the AMD logo in the right place, wouldn't it? It's not asking too much. So we're currently at 81 degrees and it doesn't seem to be any signs of it stopping. It's climbing and climbing. So once it actually starts to stabilize, that's what we'll call that the kind of the equilibrium, and then we'll stop and we'll move on to the next cooler, which hopefully it should equalize. If it goes up a degree then down a degree, we'll call that equalized, okay? So we'll see what happens. So we're at 81 at the moment, which I'm hoping is going to be the high spot. And that is it. Crazy highs in the chat. Okay, so what are we at? 81 degrees. I don't think it's going to change. I think that is pretty much done now. And actually, if I have a look to see if we are throttling in any way, at the moment it's turbo in on all cores. Well, actually, I don't think it's even turbo in. Yeah, it is a little bit. 3,550, give or take. Yeah, it's kind of bouncing around the 3,600 to 3,550 mark, which is pretty normal. They have all boosted up individually to 3.9 as you'd expect. Yeah, so 3.55, 3.6 is pretty much where we're at with that. And we're still at 81 degrees, so I think we'll call that what it is, so 81 degrees. And noise-wise, actually, it doesn't seem too bad. So it's about upper 60s, say 65, 66. This isn't a very particularly accurate decimal reading. The high temp at 81 degrees, I think. Oh no, I've just seen it 82.
That's why I don't keep it.
That did take a long time to creep up to 82. And the room is still pretty much the same, so we're looking at 24.5, 24.6, probably should have touched it. ClickTech Kev's in house and says, hello, sorry I'm late. Better late than never. British News checked in another £2 and says, Kath Hands reveal. It's like free only fans.
Okay. Proof hands.
Ricardo says AMD stock cooler is way better than the thin iced Intel stock cooler. Yeah, the Intel stock cooler is pretty awful, isn't it? In fact, I don't know why they've still got the audacity to include that as a free cooler. They'd be better off just not bothering and saving the money. So we're still at 82 degrees. Don't think... We're actually turboing up a little bit higher now. Only fractionally. So it is kind of finding that sweet spot. Now actually, I should mention already, I have used the Gigabyte fan tuning app before to register the high and low spots of the fan and to set a curve. A curve? What's a curve? It's like one of them curly things. I set the fan curve just to the standard profile, so it is doing pretty much what it does. And actually, I will double check that just to confirm that I didn't change it by mistake. If we try and open the App Center, End Center, keep on doing it. We've become a pirate. How did that happen?
That's the noob saying that we didn't have clocks in Bristol because we're medieval.
So yeah, we set that to, that's on standard now. So what I'll do in the test, I'll make sure that in the smart fan it's always set to standard, which I think is probably what most people would leave their systems as. I think that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, we're still at 82 degrees, so I think we'll call that. So 82 degrees is going to be our high spot there. So let's maximize. No, let's not maximize, let's minimize. That'd be much better. So test and exit. And immediately the temps are coming straight down quite quickly. So 72, dropped 10 degrees already. 62, that's another 10 degrees. 50, go on. The last bit is always the one that takes a little while. 54, 53, 52. Yeah, we're getting there. So it is dropping. It is steadily dropping. It's got another 10 degrees to go, which will gradually come off. And as you can possibly hear already, the cooler is starting to ramp down a little bit. And actually, to the touch, the cooler doesn't feel particularly warm, which is probably a good thing. That means it's dissipating some of the heat. We like that. Okay, down to 48. So yeah, we've actually managed to equalize the temperature pretty quickly. And now the core seems to be bouncing around at about 3.7, 3.8, going up and down. So 3.9. So yeah, we're back to where we were. So thermally, we're now within like really, really good levels. So the stock cooler actually has done pretty dang good. So let's close all of our windows. And we'll close down the PC and we'll swap out that fan. So next one we're going to go for, we're going to go with the Sahara Gaming, the Rainbow, Iced Rainbow. Why do they call it Iced Rainbow?
It always reminds me of a donut.
Yeah. Oh, don't talk about donuts. It's like a murder of donut right now. Crispy creme. Oof.
Is that all I needed to write down on that one?
I think it is, yeah. So let's get this cooler off and we'll get on with the next one. Where will I put my screwdriver? There we go. Let's make sure I've turned the power supply off. Where's the switch? There we go. So removing a cooler, same principle as when you're putting on a cooler. So loosen off the screws in kind of like a crisscross pattern. You don't have to do it exactly. A couple of turns each side is absolutely fine. And you can mix and match them. You don't have to go around in a specific thing. It's not like you're torquing up the head bolts on a old Ford CVH engine or anything like that. Just take it off and release the pressure evenly across the CPU. So 82 degrees under the Prime 95 load for, what was that, 10 minutes or so? It felt like a lot longer. Probably did to you guys as well. So that's that loosened off. And now we can unplug the cooler fan. And what I like to do when I take these off is actually just try and give them a little twist side to side, just to make sure that it's loosened up and doesn't pull the CPU out at the same time, which I've had happen. I think that's quite undone. Oh, doesn't want to come out. I'm sure the tension was released on that. Uh-oh. It's going to take the CPU out with it, isn't it? Oh. Right, let's remove the back plate. So sometimes with these, if you take the back plate off, it actually allows it to twist around slightly, so you can get it off without damaging anything. Actually, it does feel like that's still in there. There we go. So we'll take out the back plate, get out of the way, and now that's better. So if your CPU cooler feels like it's stuck or the processor's going to come out with it, take the back plate off so you can twist it a little bit more, and then you should find that it comes off quite easily. You might have to slide it because they do create a very good seal. And that don't want to come off of there at all. There we go. Oh, sorry, Kath, can you pass me some of that blue roll? Yeah, thank you. So clean off the CPU and we'll apply a little bit more paste. Now that is actually one of the downsides. If you're watching this stream on Sunday evening, is it Sunday or Saturday? I still can't remember. Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah, on Sunday evening. So when we put this thing together, I did the cross method of CPU paste, and as you can see, it actually has done an amazing job of covering the entire CPU. But because it has done an amazing job, it has also made it pretty difficult to remove. So that is something to bear in mind. If you want it to be easy to remove, don't cover the entire surface of the CPU because it won't make life easy for you. Where's the bin, Kath?
Just no.
Missed it. Never mind. Okay, so that is the stock cooler away, so we can put that to one side. Don't need that anymore. Let's take a look at the Iced Rainbow. The Iced Rainbow is a weird cooler because it comes with its own controller and like a remote control. And from what I can remember, it's got kind of like 2 speeds. I know this is the PWM version. So I don't think I'll bother connecting up the RGB part of it. I'll just leave it as it is. And we'll just connect up the PWM. Yeah, it's got a separate 4-pin connector there which plugs into the Sahara controller. And there's a 4-pin header which goes to your motherboard. Which actually, look at the length of that cable. Like, where do you think your fan headers are? On the moon? Okay, so this uses the standard AMD clips. So what I'm going to need to do is actually put this backplate back underneath. I'll try not to damage any of the surface mounted components. Wouldn't that be funny if I damaged some surface components in the video? I'm sure everyone will find that really funny. Kath, do me a favour, can you grab that motherboard box?
Which one?
The one underneath there.
Oh yeah. Oh, hands.
Inside it there's the motherboard mountings and the screws. If you wouldn't mind.
What do they look like?
That sounds like them. Yep, that's it. Thank you. And then just stick the box underneath so I can put this down. I feel like Paul Daniels now. With my assistant, Debbie McGee.
What did I first see in The Millionaire, Mike Church?
Yeah. So Debbie McGee, what first attracted you to the multi-millionaire Paul Daniels?
It's because you could get in the supermarkets early.
Come on, this is getting heavy.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I can't get your flaps down. I'll just leave them on the outside like that, yeah?
Yeah.
That's it. How'd you put the flaps in? actually on there then.
That'll do. Thank you. Right, so we have to put these clips back on in order to attach the thing. I don't really like these mountings. I do to some extent because they're quite easy, but spring clips sometimes don't give you a lot of room. And I just realised the graphics card's hanging out a little bit there, which is not good. And what's going on in the chat? His magic wand, ta-da! That's magic. Did someone ask for a cheap RGB build there?
Yeah.
A cheap RGB build. We can do cheap RGB.
ARGB.
That's what we live for. Cheap RGB, ARGB, whatever you want to call it. So, in order to keep things fair, I should use the same cooling paste, which was... Which one did I use? Oh yeah, I remember. It was this stuff. And because this has actually got quite a small surface area, I'm going to do the blob method on this. Again, it doesn't really make a massive amount of difference with these coolers. As long as you've got a little bit on there, it should do the trick. And with this one, actually, if you do put too much of a blob on there, because it doesn't cover the entire surface area, it's only going to splish out around the sides, which isn't really much of an issue. Now with this cooler, I would suggest an easy way of, well, not an easy way, but a better way of installing it is to actually remove your graphics card first of all, because you need a little bit of side pressure. So there's a clamp on the side, and that goes over the retention clamp or the plastic clip, and then you kind of roll it across, roll it over. And try and line it up as best you can. Then stick your finger through the middle of the hole, and there we go. We're on, kind of. A little bit too much motherboard flex there, which doesn't make me overly happy. But what the hell, it's only computer parts. Oh, I'm going to struggle now.
We are the A-team of cheap RGB.
I'm really struggling. Could you do the honours, please?
No, can you change the camera angle?
Yep, done.
Bottom one, yeah?
I think so. Thank you. There we go. Okay, so there we go. I can't remember if this thing lights up the default LEDs when it's not connected to the RGB source or not. So this will be interesting, because actually people do ask me that. Say, what if I haven't got an RGB controller? What do I do? I don't know. Buy one. Right, so power supply back on. Make sure that's seated again, and we should be good to go. Well, that answers that question. So no RGB. And it's actually booted up, so that's a good sign. Especially after being messed around with. Now immediately the actual, the noise floor of this is actually much better straight away. There's a little bit of noise to it. You can definitely hear it spinning, but it's not like obnoxious. So what I'm going to need to do now is go into the fan control. If I can see it. There we go. So we're going to SIV, which is the, I don't even know what that stands for. System Information Viewer. That's the one. So go into Smart Fan Auto. Sorry, Smart Fan Advanced. And where is it? Calibrate, that's the one we want. So hit calibrate. So now start calibrating, so the fan should ramp up, which it is. And that is currently on its full speed, I think, if it's still calibrating. Which, even under a full load, actually is pretty decent. Skystalker says at Cafeteria, did Mike go to sleep?
I don't get that.
When was that?
I don't know. Aletta's in. She's missed my flaps.
Oh, Aletta, you missed the calf like parts in those flaps on the board box thing. Today actually we filmed a video which is going to be released tomorrow, and you know what's like when you're filming a video and it turns out that the kind of the bulk of the content is actually shorter than the outtakes at the end. So look out for that tomorrow. At the end of tomorrow's video, plenty of outtakes. There's not that many, but there's enough. Okay, so...
King of Five has asked, are premium coolers worth it if you never overclock?
That's a good question. It's a personal question whether or not it's worth doing. Most times it comes down to people's kind of noise tolerance. So if you're wearing a headset or you've got loudspeakers or you're watching loud content, then realistically the choice of cooler is pretty much irrelevant because you're not going to hear it. What's that?
Sky, has he seen any of it yet?
Sky Stalker, holy, I was stuck on the loading screen. I didn't see anything but the placeholder. Oh dear. Right, just for those of you that may be interested in purchasing one of these fantastic items from Sahara Gaming, who are a proud sponsor of Mike's Unboxing. No, I'm joking. But they do send us stuff, so it's only fair that we give them a shout out every now and then. So the Smart Fan has picked up the RPM in the fixed mode. So actually the low point is 20%, which is actually pretty decent. A lot of fans generally tend to kind of go from maybe 30 or 40% up to 100%. So having a 20% threshold is actually pretty decent, especially for quietness, which actually, yeah, there's more noise coming from the power supply fan than there is from that for sure. By quite a margin actually.
Can you plug in the RGB?
Can I plug in the RGB? Is that necessary? Do we need that?
Gamer what has asked for it.
Thug Gamer, seeing as it's you, I'll do it if I can find them. Where did I put the box? Oh yeah.
I'm not opening any more boxes.
Yeah. Kath doesn't want to open any boxes. She is not the unboxer. And we've got another super chat come in from the British Noob. Give us £2 and he says the Intel stock cooler is best. Those are actual facts. Actually, might as well leave the light off because this will probably require some of that. So with this cooler from Sahara, you plug into a SATA connection, he says, and the cable that comes off the back, which is again super long, just plug into the control box, and normally you plug these into fan 1. I think they work best. And there we go. So you get your RGB illumination. And if I've left the battery in the control box, which I think I probably have, you can use this to go through the different modes. Yeah, so you get the idea. It's quite a nice little control setup actually. I am actually waiting for Sahara to come out with some new cases because I've got this cooler, I've got a ton of their fans, and I'm dying to put something in them.
No, put them in something.
That sounded pretty wrong.
Do I need to write anything down yet?
So anyway, there you go. So that's how it all works. I'll tell you what, I'll leave that connected because it does look nice. And for some reason that's ramped up. Did I press the motherboard button? What is going on? Why is that suddenly ramped up? So that's gone up to 52 degrees all of a sudden for some unknown reason. So something in the background has triggered it. It's got upset and it's coming back down.
Cortana.
Yeah, it probably is bloody Cortana. Anyway, right. So we've got the fan calibrated. So, sorry, I digressed again, as I do. So the low speed, low RPMs on this is 571 is the registered low point, and the highest speed at 100% fans is 1940. So that is actually a little bit lower than the stock cooler from AMD, but because it's obviously a larger fan, you've got slightly less static pressure, but you've got more airflow. So ideally, the larger the fan, you need bigger fins on the actual cooler, to allow the air to pass through because it's not as concentrated at airflow. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. But anyway, so we've got that going, and let's look at our temperatures. So in HWmonitor, which again you can download for yourself and check out your temps. And I think we've given that enough time to kind of equalize. Although something seems to be still running and causing it grief. I don't know what. Our Windows update running? Nope. Nope, close that. Exit. Okay, so we're coming down. Yeah, temperature's starting to come down now. So weirdly at the moment, the CPU seems to be spiking quite a lot. So maybe there's something going on in the background. So I would take the minimum temperature with a grain of salt, an excessively large one. And currently our low point is 42 degrees on the package, which is still not too bad, bearing in mind that it's very quiet. It's actually dropped down to 41 while he's done that. So, and British Noob says, AMD need big coolers because they run so hot. Oh dear, let's not go down that route. Right, the cooler's, it's gone back up to 42 degrees. So again, because we don't have that concentrated airflow, keeping the temperatures down isn't quite as easy as it is when you've got a more concentrated air stack as well. But anyway, I'm digressing. So let's get on to the Prime 95.
Ambient.
Ambient temperature is, well, it says it's gone up a degree. We're at 25.5 now. So actually, yeah, if you take that into consideration, that makes the difference between the low and the high point pretty much the same as stock actually. And if I use the right keyboard on the right computer, that would be really helpful.
We've got to do the decibels.
Decibels, I don't think it'll register. To be honest with you, I would do the decibels for the cooler, but I don't genuinely think that because there's so much other noise going on in the room, I can't get it quiet enough to actually make a real, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, to make it like accurate. Maybe that's something I'll do at a later date. We'll see. Anyway, Prime 95. So again, we're going to do the small FFTs and hit OK. And immediately it's ramped up. 65 degrees, 66. It'd be interesting to see if this hits the 80s. In theory, it shouldn't do because of the larger cooler, larger fan. I'll say it is. I wouldn't say it's noisier, but I would definitely say that the sound profile is different. There's less of a whine to it, but you can definitely hear the kind of that kind of whoosh of air going through the cooler. If I get a bit closer, hopefully you can hear it. There you go. Don't say I don't give you something. Captain Me's Adventures has gone all A-team on us. Where are we? Glenn says he managed to fit all my stuff in the S300 TG. Can use the Night Shark in a flip now. Nice fresh install of Windows too. Oh, I do actually need a fresh install of Windows, I think, on this particular unit, which hopefully will happen quite soon. Although I'm waiting for a new motherboard. I want a new motherboard before I do an install. Because otherwise I'm going to change the motherboard for another board soon anyway. And temperature-wise, we're actually at 80 degrees C, which I must say I'm slightly surprised at. And turbo frequencies, again, same sort of thing, so 3550, 3600. Part of the problem with this particular cooler is the way that the base plate is designed, because it doesn't fully cover the HSS. The heat shield. You know what I mean?
It's just Captain Meat.
What's Captain Meat said now? You're not getting me on that motherboard, crazy fool.
Has he been watching 80s today?
I think he might have been. The surface area of the base of the cooler isn't particularly wide, so you're missing out probably about maybe a fifth of the actual surface area isn't being covered, and you can actually see some of it through the sides. So some of it could be covered better, is what I'm trying to say. And currently we're at 82 degrees, so we're pretty much exactly the same place as we were. I want to open up the fan profile software to see what we're spinning at the moment. I'll tell you what, I'll use the right mouse. That's going to get annoying really quick. Where are we? App Center. SIV. I think SIV, that was a band in the 80s, wasn't it? Or 90s? And that's SWB. So if we go into Smart Fan Advanced, which is really struggling right now. Yeah, we're actually heading into the danger zone, and the fan is maxed out. Although to be fair, it is blowing a lot of air around pretty much everywhere other than the CPU. So the VRMs are staying super cool. They're actually cold to the touch, which you wouldn't necessarily expect, especially under this kind of load. But it does feel very, very cool. It's a shame that that airflow isn't focused on the CPU. We're currently at 84 degrees C, and sadly we're still climbing. So this doesn't bode well for the Sahara. And turbo wise, we're actually slightly lower down. I've just seen a 3512, 3540, 3542. So yeah, some of the boost frequencies are suffering slightly. We are hitting 84, and it looks like we've actually hit a maximum of 86 already, and it's gone down. I didn't notice that.
Do you want to read some questions while you're in?
Yeah, I'll read some questions and see if it equalises. If it gets much past 85, I might pull the plug anyway, because that basically is already failed, essentially, the test. For normal use, obviously, in general purposes, you're never ever going to load all 12 of your threads to 100% capacity. That is extremely, extremely unlikely. I just want to stress that this testing is extreme testing to see how much heat you can get out of the CPU. Some people will test Prime 95 and leave it on a PC running for days on end just to make sure that it's stable and works well. I know for a fact Skystalker is in that category, possibly Aletta as well. So yeah. What's that, Kath?
Skystalker said if the HS straight fan isn't warm, it sounds like your thermal interface is poor.
Yeah, it could well be. There is heat. Yeah, that's quite warm there. The base of the cooler is actually, yeah, pretty toasty. And I think we're going to equalise at 84. It is boosting up a little bit higher, so it means it's within that kind of that limitation where it kind of is trying, but it's coming back down again. Just saw 36, 3591. So yeah, it is hovering in and around that kind of region.
Doug's going now.
Oh, Doug, thank you. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for being on our Discord, all that kind of stuff. So are we going any further? 84. I think 84. I think we'll cool that. Let's end the test. And yeah, temperatures are dropping. Funnily though, the temperatures don't seem to be dropping quite as quickly as the stock cooler for some bizarre reason. So if someone was to say to me, Mike, would you buy the Sahara cooler? Yeah, I probably still would, because realistically you're unlikely to put it through these kind of tests, and it does look really good. I don't know what you guys think of it from what you can see. In fact, the lighting's pretty bad, so you probably can't see a great deal. But between this and the was it the Wraith Prism, which you can pick up for like 15 to 20 pounds. This is a similar sort of price, between 10, 15 pounds, so they're in that same sort of ballpark. The Wraith Prism would probably be slightly better at actual physical cooling, but again, it is going to cost you a little bit more. If you're buying a Sahara case and you've got all the lights and you want to add it, then it makes perfect sense. And under most loads, it's just going to look really nice. So that is, yeah, I think I'd pretty much say that is relatively conclusive. We're still hovering around the 48 degrees C, and we're 25.5 degrees C. Oh, Kath, can you put that light back on, please? No, just that one will be alright for now. Save you having to run around. Okay, so let's shut this down, and then we'll try the next one on the list, which I think is actually going to be pretty much a good contender, which is the Thermaltake, the Contact 12, or Contact 12. Still cooling down, 47. Yeah, it's taken a while to dissipate that heat.
Which is this one?
Not entirely unsurprising. This is the Sahara.
No, the next one.
Oh, the Thermaltake Contact. So let's get rid of this. Yeah, this fan definitely. If you like your RGB, which I'm very guilty of, and you want a decent cooler and you want something with a controller and all that kind of stuff, it's definitely an option. It's not perfect by by quite a means, quite a long way, but it does the job. And if you're using it on something a little bit lower, maybe, because this is a Ryzen 5 2600, which is, even though it's a 65 watt power, they still can get quite toasty. Actually, even the back of the graphics card has got quite toasty. I don't like leaving that there, but I'm going to do it regardless.
I can plug in for you. Should I hold it?
That's right.
It's not, is it?
Oh, this is the bit I hate.
You're going to knock it off.
I need to put some pressure on it. Under pressure. Yeah, a little bit. Kath's head's in the picture. Look out for Kath, everybody. Oh, this is not good. There we go. That's that released. And we didn't manage to take off the the whole lot there. But as you can, actually you probably can't see. Thanks, Kath. I will show you how the paste is gone. So as you can see, I've slid it off slightly to the side. So yeah, you can see it now. Can they see that on the screen? Can you see that? Can you see where it's covered?
Yeah, a bit, I think.
So there's kind of like a bit on the side where it hasn't touched at all hardly. Might be able to see it better from my angle if I spin it right round. But yeah, you can see there's like a load of paste there which hasn't been used at all. So that's quite a chunk of the heat shield which hasn't been touched by that cooler whatsoever. And on this side is basically where it's been smudged over when I took it out. Anyway, so let's give this a little bit of a clean, and we'll bring on the next contender, which is another spring clip device. I used to think I was a fan of them, but I think it's back then with the older AMD coolers and the old AMD motherboards, it was the fact that there was less stuff around it, so you could actually get into these clips a little bit easier. What's the matter? Okay. All right. So next up is the Contact 12, or Contact Silent 12 from Thermaltake. There is an option in this one to use a 9-volt reducer for the fan to reduce the the temperature even more. So if you're using it like in a home theatre or something, you can do that. I'm not going to use that in this. I don't think there's any point in doing that. And I don't think I need anything else in there. So the fan's already on there. The AMD clip is already installed. So yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. So this is essentially the same sort of thing. It's a 120mm cooler, but this is on a tower, and also you've got heat pipes. So there's 4 exposed copper heat pipes on the bottom, and I think those are, I think they're 6mm. Should measure them really to be on the safe side. Or is it 5? 5, 6. Yeah, 6mm. I have to wait for my eyes to focus then because I'm rubbish. So yes, anyway. So 4 6mm copper heat pipes with exposed bases. So this should be really good. So let's get this installed. Actually, heat paste, let's do the heat paste. Again, I am using crap heat paste, but I'm using crap heat paste on all of them, so this is a accurate kind of thing. I could use MX4. My MX4 did arrive today, so I could use that. I have actually got those thermal pads, which I was considering using, but because the stock cooler was already installed with the paste, I figured, well, we've started, so we'll finish, as Magnus Magnusson would have said. So I'm going to try and use the same amount again, which might be slightly too big, but at least we'll get some coverage. And this one's really nice and easy to install. You can install it either way, so if you want the fan blowing that way, you can do. If for some reason you've got kind of weird reverse airflow going and you've got your fan blowing in from the back, you can turn it around that way, so you can have airflow going that way. It's actually quite a nice design as well, although these fins, they're quite well spaced out, but they're bloody sharp. So do be careful if you're buying one of these, because there's a very, very strong likelihood that you will actually cut yourself on them. They are pretty sharp. But I guess that goes with all kind of radiator fins and any kind of devices like that. So anyway, let's get that on. So we're going to hook that on the back of the clips again, as we did with the previous one. Get a little bit of tension on there and try and roll it round. And then push it down and clip, and we're in, we're good. Stick the graphics card back in, and I think we're going to be off to the races. What is that?
It's Angel.
I thought someone's trying to stick a bag through the door, window thing. It's been a long day, everybody, and I've probably been in the sun a little bit too long. Anyway, moving on. So let's fire this up and see what it's like.
All these coolers are out of stock, apparently.
All the coolers are out of stock. What, the freezer 34 in yellow and black is definitely in stock.
Dex Caesar uses coconut oil instead of thermal paste.
It is healthier for the CPU. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Doesn't coconut oil evaporate though? I think he's joking.
We use it as suntan oil.
Yeah, we use it as suntan lotion. And then you go crispy brown. Okay, so that is installed, and again, even on these kind of, on the 12 volt settings, this actually sounds really, really quiet. In fact, that is ridiculously quiet. It's barely spinning, but again, we do need to calibrate the fan, so we're going to go into the Gigabyte app now. And we'll go ahead and do that, calibrate it, make sure that the high and the low points are registered, because otherwise the point of this test is irrelevant. There's all sorts of ways you can do tests of this of your own kind of choosing, really. You could do normalized testing, so a certain frequency and a certain noise level and all that kind of stuff. There's so many different ways, and I wouldn't say there's necessarily a right or a wrong way of doing it. It's just whatever works for you, really. And whatever's important to you. If noise is more important to you than cooling capacity, or if looks are more important, then obviously do it that way.
Yeah, TT Tech says he doesn't think.
I do apologise, I've not been taken into going into here. So who we got? So we got TT Technologies in the house. Good evening to you.
He's only ever used Noctua, but just
Right. What's that? TT. Just have a look through. So, yeah, I have. Do you know what? I've never tried a Noctua fan. I really should do, but you guys know me. I am a cheap ass person. I think I already calibrated this. Did I just calibrate it? I did. I'm doing it again anyway. I didn't like the results. I want to recount. It's like the British Brexit. I want to recount. I don't agree.
Hey, baby. You okay?
Alessa says she's going to make a wallpaper of Kath's face and put it on her desktop.
Oh no.
Well, that would scare children and burglars.
That's an accident. It wasn't meant to happen.
Matthew Bennett says, I hate using them stock AM4 brackets. Yeah, they're not brilliant.
We'll have to edit that out to a blur.
Okay, so for reference purposes, this fan appears to have a pretty much a threshold of about 40%, it seems. At least that's what it's registering in the software. It has actually detected a 20% at 498, but generally it wants to start at about 558 RPMs at 40 degrees, and at 40%, and at 100% capacity we're looking at 1545 RPM. So let's go ahead and do exactly what we did last time, and that is use the wrong damn keyboard. Ah, dear. Right, let's get HWmonitor open first of all so we can get our low point. And move that over. There we go. Okay, so currently on the package, our package temperature is 37 degrees. So that's a big drop already.
So is that the low?
That is impressive. Yeah, 37 degrees. So currently in the room is 25.5 is our ambient. Still. So yeah, that's the best result so far, and it's pretty much completely silent. Currently, the CPU is all cores are at 37,500 megahertz, and I'm using the wrong keyboard again. I shouldn't be allowed out on my own. I don't know, I didn't see. So we'll fire up Prime 95 once more, and we'll go for the small FFTs. So like I said before, that heats up the level 1, level 2 and level 3 caches, maximum power, maximum heat and CPU stress. Over the 12 cores, again Ryzen 5 2600 for those of you that are just joining us. And let's see how this affects it. Immediately the noise threshold has gone up. The noise profile of this is definitely louder. It sounds like a more powerful fan. I'll get a bit closer. Hopefully you're picking that up. Now, any of you who've been watching the stream so far and have seen our previous attempts, what are your guesses now of what the temperature is currently at? It is, to me, it appears to have equalized already, or at least it's definitely slowing. So if you want to put your guesses in the comments, and we'll have a look and see who's getting close.
Go up to RC and looping.
Okay, RC.
Answer from there down, I think.
I can't even see that. I'll try and answer some of your questions now. So David Aiken is saying the max temp looking at about 75 degrees. Skystalker is saying 62C. Carroton Brot 1 is saying maximum 76. Ricardo is going in with a 57 with a minimum of 32. To be honest with you, I think in a case, in a chassis with airflow, I think 32 would have been pretty easily achievable. TT Technology is saying 70 degrees. And let's see what we're at the moment. So I think we are pretty much at our equilibrium. John Wall says 43. I wish, John. That would be fantastic. I wish I was 43. That would also be fantastic.
Oh, man.
Calf agrees as well. Matthew Bennett says maximum of 68 degrees C. Kaiser Solo 76 says 77 degrees. So again, a few people judging on the high. Kaiser Solo says 77. Jabant 1 says 65 C. That's a pretty good guess. Soten Joel says 75. Aletta says, after an hour on Prime 95, my 3800X maxes out at 42C. Amazing. Terry C says 72 degrees C. So currently, I don't think anyone has actually guessed it exactly, but we do have a what I would say is a clear winner currently, because it hasn't changed in the last couple of minutes while I've just been talking about it. So our winner is Sky Stalker, who's guessed 62 degrees C, and we're actually at 63. So I'll put the webcam on. I didn't. Hopefully you can see it and not see Kath's boobies. Is that in any way visible?
You should have done this on all of them.
I know.
I don't know where I'm looking. Watch line. Point to the line.
I've put my finger down now. The delay on this is absolutely horrendous. It really is.
Alright, okay.
So can you see that at all?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Yeah. So 63 degrees C. So we had our low point or minimum point of 37 and a high of 63. Now considering the price of this little bad boy, that is pretty decent, and I'm not sure if you can actually see the clock speeds from your particular viewing angles, but the clock speeds are turbo and higher as well. So we're 36, 23, 36, 96, 36, 42, so some high 36s there. So we're still turboing up higher than what we were with the previous cooler. And I guess obviously temperature wise, we're pretty much, well, give or take, we're roughly 20, yes, 20 degrees cooler on the high side. That is pretty phenomenal. And the cooler itself is very, very, very cheap.
What's the ambient room temperature?
Ambient temperature is 25.4, so 25.5. Yeah, but it's within, that's like a tenth of a degree, that's margin of error. Oh, sorry. Yeah, room temperature is still saying about 25 degrees, so that is awesome. That is awesome, genuinely. I do like this cooler a lot because I think I picked it up for what, £15 or £18 or something. So if you're considering upgrading and temperatures are definitely your thing and you want a little bit of coolness in your life, then yeah, there's not really much you can complain about this. Super easy to install, relatively so, as long as you don't mind getting cut a little bit every now and then with the blades. The only thing that goes against it is I would say it looks kind of old-fashioned because you've got this exposed metal chrome finish or anodized or whatever it is. The fan itself looks a bit cheap because it's white fan blades, which are a little bit kind of yesteryear, but other than that, I don't think you can complain too much. Now, I've used this cooler specifically on tonight's stream because the design of this is very similar to about 4 or 5 other coolers on the market. Now, the same thing is with the Sahara fan that we used. The Sahara fan, there's the Thermaltake version of it, which is the UX100. There is Rainbow do one. I'm not sure what Ryjantech or Ryjantech, I don't know, whatever they're called, but they do one as well. So there's quite a few brands that do the same sort of thing. So if it looks the same, chances are it is the same thing, give or take a few pounds and maybe a couple of accessories. This cooler, the Thermaltake Contact 12, is pretty much an exact copy of the, again, one of the Ryjantech or Ryjantech, I don't know what they're called. You know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, guys. It's also the same as the GameMax 400, which we reviewed like way back, and it's pretty much a spot-on copy for the Hyper 212 Evo, which again, we all know what that's like. But again, a lot cheaper. The 212 Evo, you're looking £25–30 easily. If you go for the modern version of it with the black anodized on it, you're looking even more. RGB will cost you even more again. These you can pick up generally between the kind of anything between £13 and £20, which I think is fantastic value for money. And again, at the moment certainly gets my approval. Yeah, I think that pretty much says it all for that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
So what difference would it make being in a case?
The difference is if you had this in a case rather than an open air bench is hopefully if you've got a case with reasonable ventilation, i.e. the amount of air you've got coming in, you've got going out or above or whatever, so you've got some kind of airflow within the system. Because you're having cooler air going through, you may find that the ambient temperatures will be better because any airflow is cooling. So if imagine if you're in an office, sat in an office, and the air conditioning's off, you've got no fans or anything, you just sat there, the stillness of the air, it gets warmed up by all the surrounding things, your body, components, whatever it may be. So temperatures generally tend to rise. So if you have airflow in a case, you're getting some cooler air from the outside brought in, and your fans are exhausting the warmer air out. So you're getting that constant changing of air. So if you've got an ambient temperature in the room, plus the cooling effect of the air moving, it normally reduces the temperature a little bit. I probably haven't answered that particularly well. But you get the idea. Nugent says, what's your room temperature right now, Mike? Currently it is, it has gone up a couple of degrees, but I'm not sure actually if that's because, right, there's no airflow there. So we're at 25.7, so it is getting a little warmer. David Aitken says, I'm guessing it would only be a few degrees more in a typical case. You might actually get it lower in a typical case, again, because of the cooling effect of air moving. Sky Store says, looks like an Evo 212. Yep, pretty much all of the coolers of this design are following on from that original Cooler Master. What's that, 10, 15 years old now? Do the Evolution 78 says, good day to you, my friend. What's your opinion on the RTX 2060 series? It's a little bit off of the kind of beaten track for tonight's video, but I quite like them. If they were cheaper, I'd like them a lot more. Anyway, let's close this down now. So I think we've got all the information there. Kathy, written that down?
Yeah.
Yep. We are all good. Yep, 3763. Excellent. So let's get this thing off, and then we'll try the next one, which is going to be the Freezer 33 or Freezer 34. Or maybe both of them. I'll stick one on top of the other. Don't do this at home, kids. Oh my goodness. I'm getting too old for this. I really am. Now that was a little bit easier to remove. Look at that. That is nice. So, excellent performance. Cools very well. Covered in shizzle, but done all right. Not done too bad at all.
Need some shizzle remover.
Need some shizzle remover, I think, yeah. I got shizzle all over the CPU. I suppose really I should use some kind of proper alcohol wipes or something like that, but who does these days? It's quite a rarity. I'm just looking around at the destruction around me. This is going to take a lot of cleaning and tidying up tonight. Right. Should I open that window a little bit, Kath? Get some cool air in, because it is getting quite warm in here. I've noticed the temperature's gone up quite a bit.
It's just coming off your head.
It is probably coming off my head, most of it. That's what happens when you go out in the sun. It's not good. It's not good for you. Yeah. Right. So,
Who wants what?
I got to be honest with you. I hate installing these. Shall I do the 33 or the 34? Literally, they're within kind of like 1 or 2 degrees of each other. So I'm going to go with the 34 because otherwise we're just going to be repeating pretty much the exact same process. And hopefully I'll get the right screws out first time. Now what I will do is I'll do the single fan first of all, and then I'll do the duo fan after, which I think is going to be probably relevant to some of you.
Do you know what it was today?
No, not a clue. So with these got these horrendous spring clips, which I have spoken to Arctic about this, and just said basically I hate these clips. The clips are absolutely disgusting. If you've got a PC inside of a case already and you've got VRMs in the way and that stuff, then forget it. Literally forget it. These are horrendous. But they do work pretty well. So if you've got a bit of time and a bit of patience, then yeah, they're pretty decent. But if you're a little bit unsure and you don't like getting your hands cramped into tight spaces, then yeah, look away. So for this one, we've actually got to remove the AMD brackets. So we'll take those off. Where's my screwdriver? I need a bigger desk, I'm sure of it. So while you guys are watching me do this, do me a favor if you're still watching, and go ahead and go on, do it. Just click the like button. I'm begging. I'm not proud. I'll beg. You can pretend it's an accident. You didn't mean to do it if you want. I don't mind. There we go. We're getting a like spike. Happy days. Thank you all very much. For some reason, YouTube look at the likes and they decide if you actually should have a channel, effectively. If you don't have likes, they assume that your content is crap and they don't promote you at all. Who'd have thought? Right, let's get some of this on. Some more goop.
Wait.
Oh, we got a super chat.
Oh.
David Aikins super chatted us £2 and he says 3 spring clips live streamed. Mad. You deserve this. Thank you very much. Yeah, spring clips ain't the best. I feel sorry for people like Mike, is it Kelleher from Thermaltake? He goes around doing like live shows of how to make water cooling stuff. He must be off his head.
Oh, Aletta would love that.
Yeah, Aletta would love it. Oh, cold tea. It's supposed to be good for your complexion, but it ain't doing nothing for me. Still look like crap. Anyway, let's move on from the self-pity and loathing. What drop then? Oh, it's a microphone. Right, now I have to remember, this is another thing that upsets me slightly about these, oh, yes. Flat Earth Santa is looking down on me today, he really, really is. Because what I try and do is, because these come with all these different sized pillars, now I always get it where people have put the wrong pillars into the AM4 mounting bracket and they say, I can't screw the cooler down, it's not long enough. So it is long enough, it's just you're using the wrong pillars. So what I do is, when I take it out of the box, or take it off the motherboard, I actually screw in the mounting screws actually to the pillars that you're supposed to use, because they are very different and they've actually got very small little notches on them. So there's 2 little pins on there on the AM4 one. So what we need to do is to put these pillars into the back plate. He says, drop in the pillars onto the metal.
They're in sync.
They're in the sink?
No, they're in sync. Read that comment. Exactly the same one come through at the same time.
Where is it? It broke. Oh, do you know what I've done? I've actually put
the wrong ones in.
The wrong ones in, just to upset myself. God damn it.
That was me putting you off, sorry.
How did I even do that? Oh man. Well, that's gone well, hasn't it? I've done really well there. So,
put you off, sorry.
whatever I was saying previously, ignore it because I'm clearly an idiot. One notch, yeah. I can see what's going to happen. I'm going to end up going onto their support site to find out which ones it is. That's going to really, really upset me. Now, earlier versions of this, they actually did come in separate bags marked up like AM4, Intel, etc. But for some reason, the one they sent me didn't, which is a little bit upsetting. Okay, so there's those. These don't need to be on like super tight. You can just do them hand tight. They're not really going to go anywhere, and because when they're threaded the same way as the screw on the top, so the more pressure you put on them, if anything, they're going to tighten up more. The only thing is when you undo them, there's potential they could unscrew, but that isn't the end of the world because you're actually taking it off at that point. So it's all good in the hood. Oh, I said that. Alexa says, I always hit the like button. God bless you, Mary Poppins. Yeah, he's probably broke. He's selling his kidney. Just the one, because he's already got rid of one. He must have been on Kerry's channel. No, actually Kerry would have had the kidney as well. Right, so there we go, there's the cooler on. Now, normally you're supposed to take these fans off to do this, but for those of you that know me, you know that I ain't going to do that. Because these only have to be thumb tight as well. So we can work with that. And if that'll thread just enough, yeah, we can get a few turns on that. That's lovely jubbly. Lovely bubbly Rodney.
Did you put the paste on in the end?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because we had that super chat.
Yeah, I did. Did I? Someone tell me in the chat, did I put the paste on?
That's what they've done is paste. Have I missed it?
There's paste on there, there must be. Oh, don't say that, now I've got these screws on. Paste. Matthew Bennett says, yeah, it's on there.
You were about to do it and you
Skystalker says, he did. I am sure, question mark. 100% it's on. Thank you. Thanks, guys and girls. And those are kind of not decided yet.
I distracted you and stopped you.
I'm breaking all the rules now because I'm tightening up one side before I tighten up the other side. But I'm just a rebel. And also, luckily, this isn't my main PC.
Ghost Adder went back and it's on.
Thank you, Ghost Adder. And actually, thank you all moderators. So all of you who got a blue spanner next to your name at the moment, thank you very much for keeping the chat clean, keeping an eye on things for us. We do appreciate everything you do. And same for all of you that are on our Discord as well, the Discord crew. You're great, all of you. Sending you virtual hugs, not real ones because I'll get arrested. Okay, so that is connected. So let's put the, now the good thing about these Arctic devices are they've got PST, which is not like a post-traumatic stress thing. It's actually PWM sharing technology. So you can actually plug in 2 fans to 1 header and pass them through. You can actually, if you wanted to, you could put kind of 4 or 5 on there if you really wanted to. So if you're buying a board such as like an A320 motherboard or one of the cheaper B450s, but you want to put in a load of fans into your PC, if you get the Arctic fans, the P series or the F series, as long as they've got the PST on them, then you'll be able to add more fans easily without having more headers. What is not to like? Why did that not click? Ah, there we go. These are good. One more of those. So don't worry guys, this will all be over very shortly. We're on the home straight. you can get back to your lives. And I'll get back to cleaning up the room. Oh, I've put the wrong thing on. It happens. So how's the weather been for everybody? Let's talk about the weather, because we talk about other stuff, but we never talk about the weather, which is something most of us as Britishers, I'll never forget that. There's an Indian guy who said, I always thought all your Britishers were dumb, or something like that, but you've changed my mind, thank you. It's like, thanks, I think. Anyway, yeah, the weather's been amazing the last couple of days. Loving it. Proper lockdown Sahara thing. Safari, that's the one I was looking for.
Safari?
Safari, you know, when you go on safari to like hot countries like Africa and it's really hot.
One of our cats walking through the grass at us.
Yeah. And power. So like I said, currently working with one fan, we'll stick the other one on after. Just to see what it's like, if it actually boots up.
You've been drinking?
I had a bit of wine.
Yeah, you look wrecked.
No.
Angel's wrecked, everybody. Wait for the puking noises.
Oh. Don't get them very often now, do we?
Okay, so again, in the idle configuration, very, very low noise. And the P series fans actually do have a really decent static pressure. There's a nice bit of airflow coming through here. Now, one thing I have noticed with the Arctic freezer fans, and because the airflow is so kind of directional, if you put the fan on and it's slightly off-centered, you can actually get it to whistle. Which, if you think about it, is actually really difficult to do for a fan unless you've got really, really good static pressure, because you'd have to have really directional air. Like, if you just breathe out, you don't whistle, do you? So you actually got to force air through a certain place to whistle.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Why?
Skystalker says 17 degrees and partly sunny here. I think it's still in the 20s here. It's insane. Anyway,
It's
let's.
been raining in Chicago. Record May rainfall this year.
Oh wow, that's not great. Hopefully, it's washing away all those viruses.
Ghost Adder doesn't like the hot weather.
Ghost Adder doesn't like the hot weather. What's the matter with you?
23
lovely.
degrees and sunny.
20
Athens 28.
28 in Athens, nice.
Bit cloudy up north.
That's the north, isn't it? It's always cloudy up north.
Bit overcast in Wales.
That's default, isn't it? Overcast in Wales. Who'd have thought it?
We used to work in Wales.
Yeah, we used to work in Wales, and yeah, it doesn't
Get over
get
the
much
bridge
better.
and it would get overcast.
Right, just calibrating the fan a moment. This shouldn't take too long. I'm sure that's not 100%. That can't be. Maybe it is. Wouldn't it be ironic if this motherboard had a dodgy fan header and it wasn't giving out the amount of voltage it should do? To make all my tests null and void.
Or if you did.
Although saying that, it would be doing exactly the same on all of them, so the tests would still be valid because it's
even if
appropriate.
You didn't have paste on it.
there is paste on it. Yeah, there is. I can see it squidging out a little bit. Okay, so currently, temperature-wise, we actually dropped a little bit of temperature in the room now, so we're at 23.5. Catherine?
Sorry?
23.5 degrees. And our current, where are we? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, is it the ambient?
Yeah, ambient temperature is 23. Actually, better close the door, the window, to keep it fair. Keep it at temperature now. Although it might go back up. Oh, what the hell. Yeah, close it. So, for the record, the RPMs registered. Now, this one actually registers as low as 10%. And at 10% of its capacity, you're looking at 275 RPMs. And at 100% of its operational capacity, we're looking at 1968 RPMs. So pretty much the same as the previous cooler, which is unusual actually, because I thought these fans actually went up to about 21. Or was it 1800? One of the two. Anyway, I digress. Oh, this is the Bionics. The Bionics fans go up to 2200 RPMs, I believe, and these go up to 18 or thereabouts. Seems to be slightly over, but anyway. Moving on. Currently, we are at a minimum of 33 degrees centigrade. But again, the room temperature has dropped a little bit, so take that into consideration also. And the fan is currently at 39%, so pretty much where most coolers will be on the kind of idle setting, about 40% of their RPMs. So let's close that down and let's do the all important one and get a Prime 95 going, because it's starting to get a bit chilly in here. So again, small FFTs, level 1, level 2, level 3 cache, maximum power, maximum heat and maximum CPU stress. And don't forget you can play along at home if you want to. Hit OK and here we go. Let's see where that takes us. So, will it do better than the Thermaltake Contact 12? That is going to be the deciding factor, really. Single fan, 4 pipe, pretty much identical specs. The Arctic freezer is going to be a tad dearer. Giving that, it does look a little bit nicer because the kind of black anodized finish, I would say the flexibility of the installation might go for it as well. Whether or not that's worth a few extra pounds, I would be hesitant to say whether it is or not. But noise-wise, certainly audible, but then you do get that. That is one of the trade-offs of having that kind of power optimized or static pressure optimized fans. So it's going to be time for you to start guessing. So take into consideration now the previous one, we were at 63 degrees and we've dropped in the room temperature by 2 degrees. So that would take it to what, 61? So what do you think we're at with the Arctic Freezer 34 in single fan configuration? Let's have your guesses in the chat.
Clinton Davis.
Clinton Davis says hello.
Are you reading it?
Which Windows 10 power plan are you using, as the temps can be affected by this? I believe we are using the standard Ryzen power profile, or the balanced Ryzen power profile. In fact, I can check if you wish. Power and sleep settings. I've become bitwit and I've not even smoked any weed. AMD Ryzen balanced we are currently on. And again, it's been a CPU is the Ryzen 5 2600 or 2600 AF boxed. So Skystalker saying 62 degrees again because he's staying safe. Ben Shields says I've just bought the Ryzen 5 2600 with the B450 for my new build. Should have said I would have sold you this one. Desperate to get rid of it now. I've stressed the hell out of it. I haven't, I'm joking. Soton Gel says 60 degrees. Jabant1 says 60 degrees. David Aitken says 57 degrees. Ricardo says 58. Ben Shields says 68. Turtle says 1 degree C. And he's blue. Da be dee da ba da. Okay?
That's Crystal Waters, isn't it?
No.
Sing that one.
And he stands there singing for money. La da dee la da da. It's not that one. Richard, nope, he's not answered a thing. Scotty, or Scotty. You said 34, is it the 33? Is it not? No, this is the 34. I thought I would, the 33 and 34 are literally within kind of like spitting distance of each other. The only difference is the fan technology, and that is pretty much it. The layout of the heat pipes is slightly different. There's not a lot in it, if I'm completely honest. And I've done independent testing separately of this, and literally it's like 1 degree at best, and that's kind of margin of error. Kenneth Dyke says 58 degrees, and who else is saying that? Turtle says, thank you, Mike, you are a god. Are you sure you haven't spelled that wrong?
You spelled it
I'm a dog.
backwards.
Matt Ferguson says 45F. I don't know what that is. That's foreign money. Matthew Bennett says 55C. Just That Creator says, are you from Bristol? I am. Yes. Yes, I am. Okay. Oh, I haven't even got it on the screen, so even I don't know how much it is. So I would hope it's less. Well, it should be less because it's what temperature are we at? So we're at 25 degrees now in the room. So I don't know if that's going to affect things, because it has jumped up a bit. What was the other one? 24.5, so that's within spitting distance. 25.5, again spitting distance with it. 24.8, 24. If it gets to 25, then we're half a degree out, aren't we? We'll have a look at that. Nugent Hong says, I live in Bristol as well. Awesome. Bristol, UK, or Bristol... actually, there's a few Bristols in America, isn't there? There's one in Alabama, there's Bristol, Tennessee. There's loads of them.
I'm just that creator.
Just That Creator is in Bristol as well?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Happy days. It's nice to see some fellow creators from Bristol. When all this lockdown nonsense is out of the way, we'll have to all have a get together. We'll do a live stream together, that'd be fun.
It's a strong accent.
Although we'll have to stay at least 6 foot apart. Or more.
Because that's the science.
Oh yeah, because yeah, we've got to trust the science.
The science.
Right, okay, I've left that going for too long. So currently, noise levels, I don't think that's actually spinning as fast as it can, if I'm completely honest. I'm going to have a look at the fan profile a minute, in case I've made a slight boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo.
Captain me. This quiz is harder than 3 to 1 or 15 to 1.
Right, I've just put it on to full speed, and it's made no difference. Standard. Well, there is a little bit of a difference there. Oh, of course it is, yeah, because it's not going to be at full speed, is it? Because it's on the standard profile, so it's not going to full speed. Oh man, I'm such a fool. Yeah, because the fan profile has got a curve up to 80 degrees C, and because we're nowhere near 80 degrees C, we're not running full blast. So maybe it would have been an idea to also run all of the tests with the coolers at full speed as well. But realistically, you want to have a full speed cooler all day long. That'd drive you insane. You'd want to chuck things. I haven't got a calculator. I can't afford such luxuries as that. Skystalker says, hey, I was within 1 degrees for the last 2 coolers. Pretty good.
So what do I do? Just take the high off the ambient off the high, yeah?
Yeah, take the ambient off the high and that gives you your overall delta. Kath's doing the math.
Only because I've got a calculator.
She's like a little Bristolian Carol Vorderman.
She's Bristolian, isn't she?
Oh, no, she's Welsh, isn't she?
She used to live in Bristol.
She still does, I think. Kath's working it down to the digits. Just a Creator says, wait, hang on, don't you own a PC shop? No? Me? No. Captain Me's Adventure says this quiz is harder than 3 to 1 or 15 to 1.
So that's...
Okay, so do you want me to put the additional fan on the back to see if it actually makes any difference at all? Let me know in the comments. If you want me to do that, I will do it. Captain Meets Adventure says, Mike, how are your vowels? Not bad, I went this morning. Might go again tonight before I go to bed. Ricardo says, okay, next cooler will be a Thermaltake for me. I'm fine with a 2 degree more. Well, actually, at the moment, it's looking like that isn't the case. Suman says, can I get the difference between the 3033 and the 34? It's literally like 1 degree. It is like 1 degree, if that. And that was, I think I did 2 or 3 tests and I struggled to repeat it to get it to do the 1 degree in some instances because of the fluctuations in room temperature. So they are pretty much identical. Nenad, if I pronounce that right, Nenad says, greetings from sunny Serbia. Rainy Serbia, I apologise. Respect for your work and personality. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. So, looks like people want to see the extra fan. Clinton Davis says, what's your minimum processor state on the power plan? As my idle will be 46C on idle, but down to 39 when I change down from 90 to 5. Minimum processor state, let's have a look. We can find that out. Where are we? Power. Oh, why does it not come up? Profile. Edit power plan, that's where we want to be. So change advanced power settings. So where are we? Blah, blah, blah. Processor power management. So minimum processor state is set to 75 degrees. System cooling policy is set to active. And I'm hoping maximum processor state is set to 100. Yes, it is. So yeah, minimum processor state is 75. So again, if you want to make your system cooler, you can reduce that. Although generally reducing the processor state, in my opinion, isn't a particularly good idea because your processor state, you want to keep the clock speeds high and have the cores kind of bouncing from a relatively high point to the maximum, so they boost, rather than going from very low to very high, because the kind of the voltage shock between going from low to high is more damaging to a CPU. Carlton Brott says, well, it's time for me to leave you. Thank you very much for the stream and enjoy your evening. All the best from Germany. Take care. Oh, Wiedersehen, Pat. See you in the next one. Okay, let's stick on the other cooler and see where we're at with that. So, now, should I let it cool? Yeah, I'm going to let it cool down, then put it on. And then see if it gets to that temperature rather than making it, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out. Brain's gone completely. Okay, and this is the horrible part of this particular CPU cooler. Now I've actually had to glue little rubber pads on here because the ones that were on there would fall off all the time. So all we do is open up these brackets here. Now this is better than the 33. Now one of the reasons they changed the design is because on the side ledge here and here it's indented, so you know where you can line up the fan to.
Fan to.
The fan to? That sounds like some kind of Star Wars character. Or
you answer that one. What's your minimum processor
yeah,
state?
just did it. Don't do this at home, kids. Oh, where did the thing go? There he is. So, because this has got the PWM sharing technology, we don't really need to run the fan profile again. We just go ahead and plug that in. And hopefully, if that's worked out right, you should now be seeing a finning span on the other side. Yep, that's working. So, we're still in the standard profile. Actually, I think I will. I will run the calibration again just to make sure. So that's currently calibrating. Ricardo says, I'm impressed. 2020 and real P&P. I don't know what that means. Aletta says, I have my screen split, watching the stream on one side and playing Minecraft on the other. Oh, plug and play, Ricardo was referring to. Plug and play course. So I don't think that's made any real differences. Our maximum fan RPM is now registered as 1940 rather than what it was previously, which I think was 1950 something. So again, it's within that kind of margin of error, so not a problem there.
So we've got right this time as well.
Stick it on standard, and yeah, so this is this Arctic 34 double fan. So where are we now? Brain is gone completely. So where are we? I can't even see. Where's the processor?
What was the low?
That's what I'm trying to work out now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Cat distracted me.
Ah, right, okay. So the low is that's still equalising by the look of it. Actually, what's the temperature in the room? 24.5, so that's equalised, that's good. Corona cough, do apologise.
Oops, sorry. Slammed my pen down.
Yeah, Kath just threw her pen down in complete anger then.
Catching corona from you.
Don't feel bad. Okay. So I'm just waiting to see if that's going to come down any further. I don't think it is. No. So our processor minimum idle, exactly the same, 33 degrees. I think that was the same, wasn't it? Low. Yep, 33 degrees. So the additional fans make no difference at all on the low end, which actually is slightly surprising. I would have thought it would, but maybe because it's cooling more. I wonder if it's lower RPMs. I should have checked the RPMs. That would have been interesting to see. But realistically, it's still like just over 10 degrees over ambient, which is basically nothing. If I'd have ran this from a cold boot, obviously it would be a lot cooler. I'd have taken another 3 or 4 degrees off that, I would expect.
Running our game alongside the stream, CPU is now at 13C over ambient.
Blimey. So small FFTs again, test level 1, level 2 and level 3 caches, maximum power, maximum heat, maximum CPU stress. And oh, I missed it. There we go. Getting tired now, you can tell. So that's ramping up straight away. Let's see how much difference it is. I'm pretty confident. Our previous maximum temperature was 61 degrees C, so come on, this is your last guess of the evening. Let's try and pick a winner. Well, how many degrees do you think it's going to be now with the Arctic Freezer 34 in what I would class as being pretty much the optimum configuration? So you've got 2 Bionic style fans or P-series fans, both static pressure, and there is actually quite a lot of air coming out through there. So push-pull configuration, in theory, if you're to believe all the other YouTubers that you've seen over the years that used to have these radiators with the push-pull configurations, and actually a lot of the newer coolers, you've got the larger coolers now, which have got 2, sometimes even 3 fans attached to them. So in theory, this should be the optimum situation. So let's see what happens. So David Aitkins saying 59 degrees, Jabant1 says 59, Ricardo says 59, ClickTech Kev says 58.99 C, Clinton says 58.98 C.
Just the creator said, what are you using to monitor?
I am currently using CPU ID's hardware monitor. Again, I've used that for all the tests, so to keep things nice and fair and keep it equal. And actually, at the moment, yeah, I'm not entirely surprised at the result currently, which I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes just to see if it will peak. But currently,
right, Jack's FO, while you're waiting.
Yeah.
I just bought a 3600, and while gaming, it's hitting 85 degrees. Is that normal?
No, that is abnormal. Jack's, what was that? Jack's
FO.
Jack's FO. If your idle on your 3600 is 55 degrees and under load is 85, either you've got some seriously poor airflow in your case or your CPU cooler isn't mounted correctly. There's something not quite right there. If you're doing it under a massive load, then yeah, okay, maybe you understand. But under gaming conditions, you shouldn't really get it that high at all. And British Noob says, Mike, my PC done broken. Please come fix. X. Kafka, mend his PC. Just wave a magic wand. Paul Daniels' magic wand.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do.
Intel in there. What's up there?
Captain Meets Adventures. So basically, the cooler with massive fans cools better. Pretty much. JacksFO says, thank you. We'll have a try at remounting. Sure, and if you want to, feel free to send some pics onto our Discord chat. We can have a look, see if there's anything obvious that we can think of, which might be causing it.
Should put the link in.
Yeah, stick the link in. David Aitken says 59.01. Richard says 60. Just the Curator says 53. Mark MC says 57 degrees. Glenn says 69 degrees. Smiley face. Ben Shields 57. Nugent says 65. Just the Curator says I might try something else next time. CPUID has a bunch of different views on heats apparently. It does. There isn't really... Whenever you're doing this kind of thing, there's never a right or a wrong way of doing it. There's different ways of doing it, but if you try and keep the methodology the same, so if you use the same software, the same setup, and you sort of modify your results appropriately, at least that way then you can get a good gap between the individual components. The heat measurements or the temperature measurements or the actual thermal probe measurements, they could be way off what they actually are, but as long as you're following the same methodology for every component, then they're all going to be equally wrong, so you can still differentiate between them. Does that make sense? What does that say, British Noob? Why does Mike look done
With life.
done with life?
It's just his natural look.
Oh look, that's me. Miserable. So Captain Meets Adventures has said something bad again. By the looks of things.
No, that's him taking it away himself.
Okay. Ah, right, okay. Ricardo says, not massive fans, but the shape of the blades is the one that does the trick. This is very true. This is very true. Captain Meets Adventure says, Mike, I had an idea. Why don't you blow up tech that is rubbish in the garden, Top Gear style?
Like the caravans. Is that Top Gear?
Actually, what else is there that I could blow up? There's bound to be something around here which I'd love to blow up. Some of it won't blow up. Yeah, we could. What am I looking at that for? You're up there. Why? That's a good idea. Wow. Intel stock cooler can be your first victim.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just the Creator. After the Top Gear style.
Just the Creator says, yeah, I'm not sure if my idle temps on 3600 are okay. It's saying 58 degrees idle. Yeah, that isn't great. If it's bouncing around, if it's on the stock cooler, then possibly. And if it's on an Asus board, then yeah, definitely it will do. It'll spike like crazy.
We sprayed one white, didn't we? Or did we spray it black?
Yeah, we did spray one of these coolers. We had one of these, it was chrome, we sprayed it black. Mater Ferguson says, I'm building a PC to play Minecraft with my grandson. thought I had everything to get started until I opened the package that was supposed to have my RAM, and Amazon sent 8 gigabytes of 2400 instead of 16 of 32. Oh, that's rubbish. But you can still get it up and running with that. It's not ideal, but you can get up and running. It will still run. Just Like Creator says, get Freezer 34. It's a good idea. Just Like Creator says, I have ASRock AB350 Pro 4. That might be part of the reason. The B350 chipset, although technically works with the 3000 series, the BIOSes are a little bit screwy at the best of times. So you might find it's either over temperature in, but the AB version I think is the Micro ATX. It might be you've got a relatively small chassis, in which case you just need to get more airflow into it, to be honest with you. Glenn says, at the stock, just That Creator, stock cooler, warm room and basic airflow sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, it's spiking from 56 and 40 sometimes. Yeah, it doesn't sound too bad. They do spike quite a lot. Anyway, let's get on to it. So, who has guessed correctly? So, we have equalised quite easily by now, and currently our package temperature, as we've been going through all through the evening, is 60 degrees C. So, literally 1 degree different, which again, for all intents and purposes, you could put that into margin of error. I would say, in its defence, the precision boost overclock is boosting slightly higher. We're looking at 3666, 3655, 3674, 3999, so 390. So in a similar sort of ballpark, it's boosting well. Not overheating obviously, and 60 seems to be where it's stopped at. So realistically, if you take probably 15 degrees off that, that would be what your normal running temperatures would be like. So to get around about 45 degrees on air cooling in a system under normal conditions, going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, that's that one, Kath. So that is 60 degrees. So we'll get Kath to do the math. That's going to be a thing.
What's the thing? Ambient.
25. Well, 24.9, but we might as well round it up for the sake of what you're doing. Let's close all these things down. Noise-wise, not too bad either with the dual fan. It's not twice as loud. It gets to that kind of noise level and pretty much stays there. And all this time, the good old ATV 500 Pro has been an absolute champ and hasn't lit on fire, which has been excellent. WTech says, Kath doing the math, that rhymes. It does. It does. Oh dear. Anyway, okay, so here are the results. So this is the ambient over, sorry, the T over delta ambient temperature thing. Basically, this this is the temperature
Our formula
over and above the ambient room temperature. So the worst one, surprisingly, bizarrely, is the Iced Rainbow, which actually came out at 58.5 degrees Celsius. Next up was the stock cooler at 57.5. So again, it's only 1 degree in it, but it is 1 degree, so technically it is lower. It is within that margin of error, so you could say it is as good as, but yeah, anyway. Next one up is going to be the next highest is the Thermaltake Contact 12. That is at 37.5. So that is actually a whopping 20 degrees less than the stock cooler and 21 degrees less than the Iced Rainbow. So that's done really well. Next up is the Arctic 34 single fan. So if you've got the Arctic 33, the Arctic 33 CO, any of the single fan versions with that 120mm type design, and the 4 heat pipe coolers, That's coming at 36.5, so only 1 degree less than the Thermaltake Contact, and probably about 5, maybe £10 dearer depending where you shop. And the winner, obviously, as you would expect, is going to be the Arctic 34 with both the fans connected, and that's coming at 35 degrees, so 1.5 degrees cooler again. So a much bigger well, not a much bigger, but a more noticeable difference between the Arctic 34 times 2 at 35 degrees and the Thermaltake Contact at 37.5. 2.5 degrees is more than your margin of error. So there is definitely something to be gained from that. Again, if you can pick up like I said, they have the yellow and black version available on Amazon at the moment on special offer, which I find on Hot UK Deals, which you can browse for yourself and just do a search for Arctic and you'll find it. At £22, I think it was, including postage on Amazon. I think the dual fan Arctic 34, as long as you can cope with it being yellow, absolutely perfect. If not, pricing wise, if it's a bit dearer, like 25 or 30 or £35, I probably would go with the Thermaltake Contact just for the savings. Again, 2 degrees isn't a lot. Personal preference at the end of the day. If you like your rig to look nice and you want nice looking stuff, then like all of us, you have to pay the premium. But there we go, there's the results. I will put the results of this in the video notes when it's finished processing and all that kind of stuff. And if you're watching this video after the live event, there'll be some updated links for the coolers that we've mentioned in the video and stream, so you can purchase them if you like. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps things up. So I'll go through some of your last comments here, and then I think that pretty much wraps it up. But yeah, I know. I'm so tired, it's ridiculous. I didn't sleep very well last night again, and yeah, sleep deprivation is definitely a thing. And we have been going for 2 hours now, so come on, give me a break. I don't know how Kerry Holzman does it, I really don't.
He's got the Coke, power of Coke.
He has got Coke power. So, Ricardo guessed 55 degrees. I'm not sure what that was for, but hey, carry on. Got to there. So, British Noob says, Mr. Mike, what monitor is that? It looks very nice, and I want one as my secondary monitor. That monitor is the Acer, the one I reviewed a couple of days ago, actually, which there'll be a link up there later if you're watching it later. But yeah, it's the RG240Y BYIIX is the model number, I believe. Fantastic monitor. The only thing that lets it down is it doesn't have a display port. It's got dual HDMI and a VGA, built-in speakers which suck major balls, but other than that, it's a very nice monitor. Viewing angles are actually really good. IPS screen, FreeSync compatible, 75 Hz if not. 120 quid I think it was. So, not bad. 24 inch as well. There's a lot to like. And it's super thin as well.
They like the foot design. Yeah, spin it around a little bit. You can't see the thinness from that angle. Towards you. Be a big delay.
I can't see now. Yeah.
It's about right there.
I'll check out the delay. Oh. I think you can kind of get the idea of how thin that screen is. It's like a wafer thin. Yeah, you can see that now. Okay, so it's a great little monitor, and actually, dependent, even when I let it spin around now, I can still see it really nice. IPS screens are really good for that sort of thing. Anyway, just that creator says, I might watch you more actually, local, and helps me learn this building PC stuff and things. Used your video to mount the Freezer 34, so lifesaver. Their own videos sucked. That's probably why they send these things out to me to review them, just so it takes the heat off their video.
Takes the heat off there, cooler.
Glenn says, were you running large FFTs? No, I was running small FFTs, not the smallest, but small. Second one down.
FFS.
Nice foot design, yeah. David Aiken says, cheers then, Drive.
But they're looking for a review on budget Seasonic, is it?
Where's that?
PSUs.
Oh, right, okay. I would be scared I'd snap that. The base on that is like really super solid steel. I don't think I'm more worried about snapping this, moving it, than I am the base. The base is amazing.
Mr. Creosote.
Mr. Creosote, yeah, I have been in the garden. I'm getting oranger and oranger.
It's camouflage to the bench.
Yeah. The arms are going nice, aren't they? Doing well.
Tasty.
Mind you, it does help immensely that everything else around me is like kind of slightly off-white. It was white, but now it's slightly off-white. And also, I do have the color profile jacked up a little bit on the camera, so this, you're not really getting a true-to-life picture. Really, this is all black and white. It's just the color profile.
Take your watch off.
Actually, yeah, take the watch off and you can see there's normal skin tone underneath there.
Mike's gardening channel.
Mike's gardening channel. Oh, Right, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Even though we've got 73 of you crazy people still viewing, you must be very, very bored, or you've just left it on and you've gone into a coma.
Thank you.
But thank you all very much for joining us tonight. Don't forget to check out our other videos throughout the week and check out the back catalogue. I'm sure there'll be something which would be interesting. We've done like 800 videos, so there must be something you want to watch. Surely there must be. And if you do go and watch it, don't forget to stick a like on it and tell me that in the comments section that you've actually come, or you've come from this stream into the video and you're commenting for that reason, and I will reply to you. I always reply to the questions even if it kills me, which it generally does, which is why I'm so tired all the time. But anyway, that has been tonight's stream. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's made your evening go by. Captain Meek's being crude as per usual. We do thank you for that. So, brilliant. Thank you all very much for joining us. Thank you to British Noob and the others that have... No, I think it was only British Noob, wasn't it? No, there was another one as well. Yes, there was a couple. David did as well. So thank you for the super chats. It all goes towards helping the channel out and for us to buy new stuff to try not to break when I do it on a live stream. So catch you in the next video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. And I really must get myself a stream deck. It will make this bit a lot easier. Anyway, have a nice evening, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.